hopefully going to hop back into Champion Select, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are. We'll see whether the bans come through exactly the same. I would expect them to, because, of course, they have to.
Yep, really should be the same here. So shouldn't see anything surprising, and we're going to flip through these as quickly as possible. Again, I like all the mid lane bads that are coming through. I like that Snake are banning Cassin on the blue side, but this was the pick that definitely stood out to me as we kind of get through the rest of the draft. Picking Rek'Sai here when you could have taken Jarvan or Nunu for Beast here.
Yeah, I know. That's the strange thing. And I mean, I guess it's giving a lot of respect to Spirit on this Rek'Sai. Or maybe it's just the fact that Beast didn't have the game that he wanted to. He may have been having a lot more success with this Rek'Sai, and we just haven't seen as much of him on that champion.
I mean, Rek'Sai is actually comparable to both Jarvan and Nunu in some ways. It's almost a hybrid of those two champions. Lots of reactive, control-centric style. We know that Beast likes to counter jungle and can do that, of course, on a champion like Rek'Sai. And the utility you get from being like a good frontline for your team, like it's not Nunu-level support that you're giving, but you have a lot of options on a versatility, and that really suits a player like Beast.
Yeah, and Barker now looking to potentially go for the Lulu in the mid lane, and they've got the Unburrow Wild Growth combination here as well. And this looks like a thought-out, like, champion composition coming through from Snake. They can now grab a hyper carry in the late game, and things could be really scary.
SDYZ should not pick Sivir in this situation if that's their plan as well, by the way, because all of Crystal's good carries beat up on Sivir, especially the Draven. So they're already signaling they look like they want to protect Crystal here with a big comp. So play something a bit more aggressive. Like, John is fine if you want to take it away, and I love the first two picks for World Elite as well, but World Elite have to be careful in their drafting. So they've undone themselves the most, and looks like they are going to lock these very solid picks in.
Yeah, and I mean, that could be a top lane Morgana here as well. Snake going to finally round out their lineup. We have no idea exactly where these champions are going to be going. And Crystal looking to go for the god tier Ezreal, potentially.
I'm not sure how I feel about Ezreal. I guess we'll give Snake a little bit more time to consider their picks. I do like that, apart from Rek'Sai, Morgana and Lulu are very flexible champions, so they can get a lot of work done there. I mean, we've seen Flandre play Morgana. We can move Lulu into support if we want. Like, Snake didn't give a lot away, apart from the fact that they're basically screaming, Crystal is our carry this game.
Yeah, well, exactly, with the Black Shield there as well. And Mundo being looked at. And Kog'Maw as well. I have a feeling we might have the Juggernaut situation coming through.
This is basically Juggernaut as far as comps go. I mean, I like the Mundo completes this lineup very nicely. If you're only going to have one tank, Mundo is probably the single best one to have, even though Rek'Sai is reasonably tanky here. Crystal's already shown a lot of proficiency on Kog'Maw. The lane's a bit awkward, I have to say. I think they probably look for a swap because the Graves matchup probably a little too tricky for Kog'Maw, especially given that I guess Morgana's his support, which is probably not that good given that Graves is so much flat AD.
You don't even know. I mean, it could actually be Ella picking up the Lulu here.
Yeah, it could as well. But, I mean, that would give... Like, Barker doesn't play Morgana as far as I know, so it would make...
we don't actually know whether he plays anything else other than the ones that are banned.
That's true,
be honest.
And he does have a champion that is not Azir, Xerath, or Victor in this game, so true, we'll have to see where these champions go. Snake have definitely drafted very ambiguously in their first few picks, but again... This is all on Crystal's shoulders. We've seen Snake play Protect Crystal before. Juggernaut is not quite a classic, but at least a very recent innovation as far as big AD carry-centric comps go. This is the sort of thing that I would expect a team like Snake to be very good at playing, and now they have it. Let's see how they play it.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see Crystal go off yet again. I mean, the last sort of time that he picked up the Draven, it didn't quite work out as they lost to King, and it'd be really good for, Crystal to have his revenge here. But World Elite, I mean, if they manage to get a 2-0 against Snake at this stage, going into IEM, things are going to look fantastic for this team.
Yeah, I have to remember that World Elite do have an international trip to make soon. They're competing in IEM Katowice, so their form already has looked much better. It would look very good if they were able to beat Snake here as well. But if Snake can't win with this comp, I think they have to, really start thinking hard about what's going on as far as their picks and stuff go, because this is a comp that Snake, in my opinion, based on how they play, should be very comfortable playing and winning with.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, this suits their playstyle so beautifully as well. I mean, Ella not quite on the Janna, but does have that Soul Shackles to try and deter members from being around this Morgana, and they have so many opportunities to let Crystal be a beast in any part of them. I mean, I was going to say in the back line, but he could be in the front line. He was wild growth Kog'Maw of Doom.
Yeah.
Man, even a Cathian surprise. I mean, if he dies, he's still going to be taking people
Just
down.
always does damage.
Yeah, always
beautiful.
do damage.
Literally perfect team comp. No.
They just need Zyra in the bottom lane, the double suicide bottom lane. It's beautiful. You can never lose.
I mean, like, it's funny that you mentioned frontline there. That is sort of the point of the comp, but I think we got a game to get to.
Yeah, let's get into the Rift and see what happens. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with Snake taking on World Elite, looking for revenge here, not wanting to make it back-to-back 0-2 losses here for our Snake lineup. And they may have the team comp to do it this time as Barker put to the test on this Lulu in the mid lane. We'll see how comfortable he is on a new champion.
I mean, it at least has similar elements to Xerath, where very safe, lots of wave clear. I think it's actually a fine pick here. I'm kind of confused about Ninja's Ezreal pick, but it seems to just be a comfort thing for him. Yeah. As far as their team comp goes, I don't mind it. It's got a lot of good mid-game strength, like a lot of AAD comps, but the matchup doesn't seem amazing to me. So, and it doesn't. They maybe could have picked something like a bit more of a team fight mage to really get things going as far as the late game goes. But maybe, you know what, Snake with the Cogmore here, maybe they just have the late game already. That Waterley is like, you know what, we have to win and win early.
Yeah, well, World Elite going definitely all in as far as that mid-game is concerned. We'll see whether they manage to get all of the Dragon control, manage to get some early turrets on the map as well. And with an Ezreal and a Graves, I mean, you have to think that structures aren't going to last too long. No, and Snake have done a really good job of getting the early wards down. Actually, so have World Elite. They've actually defensively warded their own red side of the jungle. Snake have done the same on their red side here, and this is what we were thinking here. The one thing they need to do is get Crystal through the lane. Graves is not a good laning matchup, so they're looking for the swap, and they might have already successfully found it. Yeah, they've made it here as 1 minute 50 on the clock. There are creeps already walking to these lanes, and seems like Crystal going to have that lane swap, and that's going to be fantastic. Already here very early, they are going to be able to start this creep stack very, very quickly and get that one pushing in the opposite direction, which is exactly what they want. Yeah, I mean, it's smart for Waterloo to be there early just to make sure they can both ensure a freeze. I actually like that Ella's sort of roaming right now. He can potentially move with his team and just give Crystal space, because you obviously get free farm in a 1v0 or some 1v1 lanes as well with an AD carry, but levels are so important to Kog'Maw's kit that giving him extra experience is fine, and Morgana really doesn't need it. We often talk about in lane swaps that you isolate the mid lane when this happens, and that's true here, which is fine because it's kind of a wash of a lane. The most important thing is this gank, though. Oh my goodness, Ella coming around, lands the Dark Binding there, Sub-Flash doesn't quite get the unburrow as another flash comes in. Ninja, is the Ignite going to be enough? No, of course, level 1's going to do it, and it's going to be Spirit coming through and picking up Barker. What is going on? I mean, Luca didn't even teleport, actually. He was double jungling with Spirit and walked into the lane. We talk a lot about Jarvan's level 2 pressure being great here, but that was a very nicely timed counter gank. Ninja saved that heal for the longest time, and Snake, they tried the 4-man gank. It almost worked. A beautiful binding from Ella, but at the end of the day, not enough, and Waterloo are going to take more now. Yeah, they're going to take this red buff away as well. Yuji actually, unfortunately, doesn't manage to leash it very effectively, but Spirit is going to find his way over here, and with the help of a shield, going to easily take away this red, and that went horribly wrong for Snake. I mean, that was a plan that they had from the word go, and they really needed to be able to lock Ninja down, because level 1 is the only time you can effectively lock down an Ezreal. Yeah, a bit of a disaster as far as that gank goes with Woodley getting first blood, but they at least keep the vertical jungle going. And I mentioned before that we isolate the mid lane. Sure, that's fine. Again, it's sort of a wash, although I guess actually, Ezreal didn't even pick up an assist there, so even no extra gold even going to that lane. But Crystal, again, he needs to be safe. He needs to farm up in his 1v0 situation as much as he can. And now Snake, with the way that they've jungled early on, have complete control of the top side of the map. Yeah, well, it's true. A few tunnels being set up here by Beast as well, who's going to head back to base, pick up that Trailblazer, and continue his assault here on the map. And Spirit now, though, picking up first blood on a Jarvan. I mean, that spells all levels of scary to me. Yeah, and the swap actually means that this could happen here. Waterloo are going to move in for a very clever early dragon. Yeah, UJ just hanging around here as well. I mean, don't even need the 80 carry. This could be a very easy early dragon, and Beast nowhere to be seen. Can tunnel into that pit if he wants to. I mean, Flandre is going to get spotted out by this ward as well. Very safe, very easy early dragon here for World Elite. And actually, Beast has come around. Oh my goodness! Okay, very safe, very easy, and still. I didn't even know the smite range was that long. That was ridiculous coming through for Rek'Sai. Was that a smite? It must have been. He used it. It's on cooldown. Or did he just use it on the Raptors and got it with a Prey Seeker just there? Maybe. I don't know. Whatever it was. That was if that was a fadeaway Prey Seeker, just like, oh, I just got a ward, may as well throw a Prey Seeker, see what happens. Well, that was dumb. That was really dumb. Waterloo had a great plan. That almost like we need sports level instant replay slow-mo. Yeah, no, that's just like both of these teams have done really dumb, well, you know, really interesting plans early on that just haven't worked. I mean, that dive early with 4 members didn't work for Snake. Right, and let's see this again. Oh, here we are.
So I'm really curious. I think you might be right about the Prey Seeker. No, it was. Oh my god. Spirit miss-smited it and just got it stolen away by a W.
Oh my
Or
goodness.
a Q.
Yeah, I think it was a Q. Be hard, yeah.
I mean, it was a Prey Seeker, which I think is Rek'Sai's Q. I mean, at this point, my brain's so modded I can't even really establish what happened, but Spirit miss-spiting by maybe probably 2 digits there and really pays for it. Beast, that was a very nice steal.
Yeah, the fadeaway steal as Aluka's going to come around here, and they're getting very aggressive onto Baka. He is dead, and there's not a whole lot you can do when you're bouncing around the mid lane.
All right, so we mentioned that kind of a wash in the lane, but Spirit going to move in and affect it, and Ezreal adds decent damage to ganks, especially early on, and Spirit's already starting on a good game here. So, yes, the Dragon getting stolen away is not good news, but what are they going to continue riding the flat gold advantage that they have, even though it's only about 600-800 gold?
Yeah, and is it sort of not that bad here for Snake as well, just because Baka wants to be more of a utility for Crystal, and if Crystal was getting the focus, would that be the sort of main problem? I mean, right now he's staying toe-to-toe here with Graves as Aluka makes his way here to the top side. Spirit looking to possibly put on some pressure, but you can see there's a lot of warding around here for Crystal as well, and he's going to be quite safe. Yeah,
Crystal's got a free lane. That's exactly what they want here in this situation. I mean, level 6 already actually going to do a very good job bullying the level 4 Maokai under turret with his Bio Arcane Barrage active, so there's a lot to like about what's happening already in this matchup, and you can see that the gold lead between the 80 carries is even, and that would not be close if Graves was in this lane against him. So Crystal has the levels he wants, has good gold coming through already. Snake just need to hold on to this as long as they can, and they actually bought a lot of time by stealing that dragon.
Yeah, well, exactly, and Tier has been finished up by Ninja now, so not exactly getting any combat stats from that one, so you have to think that Baka are going to be a little bit more able to do some work here in this lane. Does, you know, double Fairy Charm and an Am Tomb not really going to help him out too much, but of course having a little bit of extra AP is going to help you more than just having a bit of mana.
Spirit might have got caught out here. Ella's actually only level 2.
Yeah, there's the Unburrow to come through onto Spirit here, though. Baka actually rotating a little bit earlier than Ninja, who might be a little bit caught out, but hang on, he's Ezreal. So he's not going to be.
Totally fine there with the Arcane Shift, but I like what Snake are doing again. Oh, actually reinvading. This is really smart.
Oh, actually, Spirit going to smite the red buff in order to get himself to safety. Baiting there just a little bit as True Shot Barrage going to find Beast, and he is in no man's land. He's going to try and tunnel through Crystals here as well. There's the Voiders, but Aluka, he's going to have to run. Crystal's super strong right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This is why I love what Snake do so much here. Baka's hit level 6, so he has a wild growth, and they're invading the red side. They actually were going to tower dive. They're Maokai at level 4, but kind of ran out of options when they caught Spirit. Yuja's been caught now.
Yeah, there's the Dark Binding. Actually, that Glitterland's doing a lot of work here as well. The teleport to come through from Aluka into the backside, but are they going to lose someone too early? Yuja going down very, very low, as you can see, as there's another Prey Seeker. Yuja's going to die. Baka manages to get a nice Pix-inflated auto attack into the back of his head, and Snake playing... This is the aggressive Snake that we know.
Yeah, this is the Snake that we, I guess, wanted to see in this team comp here again. Played it so smart with the early lane, so it gave Crystal all the time, and when Aluka finally returned to the top lane, they tried to dive in, but Spirit was there, but they moved back in, reinvade the red side, know that they're strong at this point, given how good Crystal is and how weak Maokai is, especially when Graves isn't able to be there on the top side. So Snake divided this map early on and are playing the top side perfectly so far.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Spirit now going to give over this blue buff to Ninja just so that he can continue to stack out this tier as quickly as possible. Of course, needs to hit that Mirror Mana as soon as possible. Is Crystal going to continue just farming here in the top side? Very even as far as the gold is concerned for these AD carries. You can see the BF sword already completed. Ella at level 3. Like, dude. Yeah. Some Sync Dream type stuff going on.
It really isn't. I mean, this is something that I feel like we only see on supports in China. They love to roam and really play resourceless for as long as they can. Ella actually doesn't even really generate much gold. He's maybe okay in some sort of tower push because he can do a bit of extra damage and get some gold with his spell thieves. But early Moby Boots, he's all about roaming. They have given everything to Crystal in this early lane.
Yeah, and I mean, he's made good use of it, managing to keep Aluka pressured as well. You can see he can barely stay in this lane, and that's been going fantastically as far as this lane swap is concerned, because Flandre, I mean, he's just throwing cleavers into the, you know, the backline minions. He's able to stay safe here. Crystal low on mana as Aluka's coming very far forward, maybe just faking out a little bit there, but you can see Flandre now with this Spectre's Cowl. I mean, he's in almost no worry of dying because, of course, I mean, you get hit by a buckshot, 150% regen on your health. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Mundo is already pretty insane as far as the regen goes, so is fine here and actually doing very well versus Aluka as far as CS goes, 20 ahead in that particular matchup, I guess we can call it. Crystal's finally going to go back and spend some gold. He's got Fade Sheen here, so moving in for what looks like a quick Trinity Force, and he might be swapping back now. I'm a little surprised that he doesn't want to keep going, given how well the lane was going, but if he was ever going to swap back, now's the right time.
Well, exactly. 2 seconds on the Dragon coming through here, of course. Snake managed to get the first one with no effort whatsoever with that beautiful steal coming through from Beast, who's now in the top side of the map, and he has his ultimate available, so he's going to be absolutely fine. Ella's going to find Spirit, and Spirit, I have a feeling if he had gone aggressive there, he could have almost 3-hit Ella, but going to deter him from that particular one as Crystal shows himself here on the bottom side. They are going to be able to clear out that pink ward there, is Ninja and Spirit.
Yeah, Crystal's quite strong at this point as well. I mean, Graves' ult will do a lot of work here, but he's level 8 still. I think one of the highest, or tied for the highest level in the game at this point. Rek'Sai's already moving down. Baka with blue buff and ulti. This is actually quite a good spot for Snake to pick to get their second dragon.
Yeah, and Spirit is around here as well. I mean, he's going to have his finger on... Oh my goodness, speaking of which, Snake here on the bottom side. Ella almost died. He does! The collateral damage comes through, but they do trade the supports here. STYZ forced to use that flash. Crystal able to get a lot of damage down here as the Bioarcane Barrage about to come back off cooldown. But Ninja's here managing to pick up Flandre. Oh, there's the Wild Growth under Crystal here as well. He continues to auto-attack as Beast going down very low, but the passive gonna save him there as Crystal now completely out of mana. The last ulti, oh my goodness, Twisted Advance. It saves the life of Aluka for a second and causes Baka's death, but finally the tree goes down. Crystal so aggressive here, and Ninja, he's waiting in the wings.
He's very sneaky, which is apt given his name, but he will have to back off here. Beast is still quite here. Oh, damn, he's going in.
Oh, Beast in so much trouble. Actually, Ninja getting aggressed on, but
my God.
That's going to be the buckshot for the death. And Dark Bunny actually comes through. A Cathian surprise going to secure that kill as the little Cogmore that could, able to get the damage down. But Ninja, double kill now. I think it was a bit more than that as he's huge. 5-0-2 on this Ezreal.
Yeah, picked up so much there. World Lead are going to get the first dragon, though Flandre is back here, so could stop them. His ulti's up.
He's trying to stop them. We'll see whether he can get anything done. Of course, misses the cleaver there. Ninja very low on mana, but Flandre has to be very careful. He's popped the ultimate, but just gets bursted down. And Flandre, not quite sure what you were trying to achieve. As Baka, it's his turn.
Well, I mean, don't want to walk in too close here. Baka might be able to do something, but it's still the same situation. Now 1v4, actually.
Yeah, but Lucas found his way around here as well. Wild Growth onto Baka. He's going to flash out of the way. Glitterlance gets a bit of damage down, but finally this dragon's going to be taken. World Elite pick one up. They even that one out, and Snake after that battle, I mean, dealing now with a 6-0-2 Ezreal. It's very frightening.
Yeah, I wonder what Ninja's going to... There we go. Well, you answer my question here.
Yeah.
Tier plus Trinity Force at 13 minutes. I mean, Trinity Force on its own is a pretty good item to get at 13 minutes. You're ahead of the curve in that situation, but Ninja's very ahead of the curve this game.
Oh, yeah. It has been answered by the Trinity Force here for Crystal now as well. So he completed that after he managed to pick up that kill with his passive onto STYZ, but still, I mean, that Ezreal in the mid lane, it's going to be very difficult for Baka to get any farm at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, actually, UJ moving down as well. Crystal's alone right now. I think Ella's off somewhere. Yeah, Beast actually just gets a kill on Luca.
Yeah, they managed to trade them, though, as... Yeah, Beast is going to fall at the same time as Ella. And we missed the start of that engagement, but you can see the assist marks from Ninja. He's just able to get so much consistent damage now with that Trinity Force.
And just a little too aggressive to fight on the side of him. Your Cogmore isn't on or Spirit, though.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. Holds onto the cleaver for quite some time, and Flandre... Oh, wait, what?
He couldn't throw the last cleaver. There's a minion blocking it, I think. Wait, now he goes back in.
Yeah, looking for it. The smite to come through here as well. True Shot Barrage going to go wide as Baka's just looking for the kill. There's the Wild Growth. Can you just kill Spirit? Okay, there. They finally managed to do it.
They got him.
Yeah, Void Rush going to come through here into the mid lane as well, just so that Ninja doesn't take that turret. Of course, with these Sheen procs, it's going to be very, very easy for him just to smack down that turret. But with Beast here, it is going to be A-okay. I'm just not sure what happened there on the top side of the map.
Yeah,
very
again,
interesting.
A weird exchange. It's odd for Snake to invade the side of the jungle where Ninja has easy access to, and Crystal isn't on, given that he's the strongest member of their team and the one they're trying to protect. Ninja actually going in onto Baka.
Yeah, he's going to get polymorphed there, and not going to be nearly enough, as Ninja's just so strong.
Yeah, that was just one Trinity Force proc auto attack for the last bits of health. Beast has to be careful as well. Ninja is level 10 right now on the Ezreal. We've talked about him carrying before. He might be set up for another carry performance this
I know,
game.
11-0-6 in his last game, 7-0-4 now at 15 minutes in this one. Ninja, where have you come from, man? What did you have for breakfast this morning? Because things are looking great here. Bioarcane Barrage popped, and STYZ takes a lot of damage from that one.
Yeah, and it's not quite Kassadin levels, but Ninja can get aggressive if he's given how good his game's gone. Arcane shift forward and probably get to key targets here. Again, it's all about Crystal's damage output. He's picking up more CS, but he needs a little bit more. The fact that Snake couldn't get the second dragon that they tried so hard to set up for is actually a big loss here, because the third one's so important to a Kog'Maw team.
Yeah, it very much is. I mean, STYZ does have the Infinity Edge now, but this bottom outer turret is going to fall down. First turret of the game now going to Snake as Ella comes around just to protect the little Void puppy. Ninja picks up a blue buff and heads back to this mid lane. You have to think that, when that Manamune comes in, Ninja's just going to be so strong. Yeah,
Ninja already has 1,300 gold banked as well, so not too far off that next item here. And that tier's charged up pretty high as well. I'm actually going to quickly check. It's, 478 mana through already, so almost there, about 500 mana through there as he throws out some more spells. And he'll charge it very quickly now at this point, and Beast is camping the top lane here, waiting for a Luca.
Yep, just hanging out, of course. Flandre on this Mundo does have a lot of lockdown, especially as far as, slows are concerned. Arcane Smash actually doing some work here, but Mundo, very deceptive champion. He's probably never close to dying. Yeah,
as we move back as well, Ninja does get the Manamune there, so we'll charge it up very quickly now. Probably going to be done with the transformation under 20 minutes, which will be quite impressive. Speaking of items as well, Chris has actually got his BF sword, and I don't know which of the two BF sword items he's going to get, but I actually like both of them, because again, Kog'Maw needs to do a lot of damage. He can't really afford, doesn't really need Blade of the Ruin King for the peel, because the whole team's built around protecting him anyway, so just go a big full damage item on your Kog'Maw. Both BT and IE are fine for different reasons. One's a bit more defensive and one's hyper aggressive, but he knows he's the sole damage trait. He needs to do damage.
Yeah, speaking of which, UJ actually taking a lot of damage here as Crystal's going to flash forward. He got ignited though. A Cathian surprise, can't quite make up his mind. Instead, runs into the pit with the red buff, and Barker died in the meantime as well. I mean, everything going on around this map, and it all seems to be coming off the back of Ninja. Ella secures the Raptor, so that is definitely a win, but Spirit going to be able to take away this pink ward, and Ninja going to be able to take away the outer turret in the mid lane.
And it's so funny that the first half of this game was played wonderfully by Snake to keep Crystal up here. He stayed in the top side, free farm basically. They invaded that side of the jungle looking to dive a Luca, and when they couldn't, just moved in, hit their strength, and protected their Kog'Maw and guided him to this stage. Wadley are doing the same on the other side of the map now, taking over the bottom side of the map, keeping control of Dragon, and just keeping Crystal back as much as they can.
Yeah, and I mean, have a look at that. Almost 3,000 gold lead for Ninja in comparison to Barker. That is absolutely terrifying. I mean, it's not quite there. Of course, 2.6k, but man, I mean, what's that? It's more than a Void Staff worth of stats.
Like, a lot, given where Ninja is at this game, and the fact that the Void Staff is just being finished now for Barker. He doesn't even have a big AP item like a Rabadon.
Yeah, I feel that might not be working out here as well. I mean, he wants those Whimsy shields to be powered up here, and a Rabadon's is what he wants for that, but he just wants to be able to actually cut through these teams, and because he's so far behind, it's now the time in the game where he needs to be getting that Void Stuff.
I mean, I feel like you kind of asked me the same question last game with the Corki Last Whisper. It's like, why build it second? And it's like, the truth is, if you ever build a Void Stuff for a Last Whisper, you know what at least does something at some point in the game, and it's really cost efficient. So there are times where it's good second. It's rare, but sometimes it's quite good. Some players just like to get it early, some like to get it late. It's sort of a preference thing, but at the end of the day, the item's always going to be good, and it at least costs you not that much gold. So in this case, for Lulu, it's probably a desperation Void stuff.
Yeah, it seems like a desperation, but World Elite are going to be able to secure their second dragon here, of course, in a row, having that first one stolen away from them from Snake, and that is looking all the more important here for Snake as well. I mean, if that steal hadn't have come through, that could have been 3 dragons to nothing, and World Elite snowballing this victory away. Crystal Now going to come over, gets Cataclysmed here as well. Isn't able to, oh, he is able to take the red buff, so that's a consolation prize. Immediately it goes over to STYZ though, so that's not great.
And again, World Elite just always on the bottom here. Beast now up the top lane.
Yep, Sadism's popped here from Flandre, looking for the cleavers, doesn't quite get it. Dark Binding lands onto Aluka somehow in the minion wave. He even gets exhausted. Snake are just incredibly angry at the World Elite lineup and trying to take a win anywhere they can. That might spell an inner turret in the bottom lane, the mid lane, and an inhibitor turret, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're angry at the wrong person. Aluka, sure, whatever. He's on his Maka. He's got his Righteous Glory. Don't worry about him. Protect your Kog'Maw in the bottom side. World Elite have consistently picked off Crystal in the bottom half of the map, and Snake just forgot to move their attention back towards that side of the map, it feels like.
Yeah, and of course, you know, Crystal was just in his own jungle trying to take his own red buff, and he's just unable to here at 20 minutes into the game. It's looking really, really bad here for Snake. As Ninja's 8-0-5, looking terrifying. Going to head back to base and maybe purchase the rest of the shop. Not entirely sure what he's going to do there. Aluka, you know, it doesn't matter what he's been doing. I mean, he's Maokai.
Yeah, I mean, I love the build from Ninja. Actually going for a Blade now as well.
Oh my goodness.
Big carry-style build coming from the mid lane Ezreal here. I mean, STYZ is doing fine. He's actually significantly further ahead in CS versus Crystal. So even he's having a good game. He's just basically hung out in the bottom lane, just free farming for longer than Crystal's been able to. And it shows when Crystal is the main damage threat here on Snake, Snake needs to play around him, and they did for the first half of the game, maybe the first 8 to 10 minutes, and almost forgot about him in the last few, thinking, oh, you go Trinity Force, you'll be fine. But the truth is that Snake needs to ride this Kog'Maw to victory, and they've let it slip a few too many times. Like, Fed Ninjas aside, Kog'Maw has been like grossly underwatered for, given how much early attention they gave him.
Yeah, and Ella's normally so good at keeping him protected as well, but Ella's just been so behind this game. Has finally, you know, managed to at least get past level 6, which is definitely admirable. But they're just bleeding turrets across this map. 5-2 now in favor of World Elite. And just the rotational play coming through from World Elite is just so much better this game.
Yeah, I mean, Graves has Corki-esque turret pushing abilities, I feel like, when he's able to really get one-on-one time with them with the quick draw here. His own World Elite are not stopping the push.
Yeah, they've got a huge minion wave, and I mean, Flandre has to get right in amongst it to be able to clear that one out. Beast now looking to try and come in. Ghostblade popped, and there's the Monsoon in order to get Flandre out of this one. Barker's hanging around. Beast gets slowed. Oh, but the Cleaver lands. There's the flash unburrowed. Nice Howling Gale as SDY flashes to safety. Aluka again going to get all of the focus. True Shot Barrage not going to find anyone. Crystal's here as well. Living Artillery coming through onto the tree, and Aluka finally goes down to Barker. Arcane Shift onto Ninja as well. They're trying to peel away, get the damage done with those Mystic shots. Muraman has already come through here for Ninja as well, so this is a very strong Ezreal. And even though it's a 4v5, World Elite, I have a feeling, might still have a chance.
I mean, you saw it just there. Snake found a catch onto Aluka. Now, granted, Aluka's very tanky, but do basically no damage without their Kog'Maw at this point in the game. So Crystal finally came in when Aluka was on a couple slivers of health, and eventually they got their kill, but even 4v5, World Elite will find it. They just have more threats than Snake have answers for at this point.
Yeah, well, it's true. And I mean, Barker hasn't picked up an item for a very long time here as well. I mean, this Lulu not really doing all that much. Flandre might be the saving grace here as he's got his ultimate back up against Sadism coming through. Barker takes a whole lot of health damage, but oh, Spirit actually getting whimsied here as well. I mean, UJ, he's been locked up. Snake, Beast looking for something. The Unburrow onto Aluka. They just focus this Maokai every time, and they do manage to pick up a kill. Aluka goes down, but there's Ninja doing so much work. STYZ falls down. Crystal, he picks up that kill completely out of mana now. There's the Polymorph. Ninja doing so much work, though, despite everything. Flandre finally falls down. UJ there as well, and this Kog'Maw still alive. Living Artillery coming through. Oh my goodness, the Arcane Shift. Ninja picks up the kill onto Barker. Crystal, he's basically dead, as are Spirit and Ninja, but finally the fight's over.
And a good fight there for Snake. Finally find an engage that works for them. Beast had a clutch knock up there to prevent Spirit from EQing in. Now Beast is going to come and force Ninja off this tower, or try to, but he can't.
Yeah, there's the Void Rush coming through. Spirit's around here. He might just die incidentally. Oh, he doesn't. Ninja, he's kiting. Is he going to be able to get the Prey Seeker? Picks it up. And Beast says, okay, you can only run so far, little Ezreal.
Yeah, the Blade of the Ruin King now finished, though. So if that happened again, he probably does actually outcut Beast there and win. And, I mean, a BT is done for Crystal, but he still needs more items on this Kog'Maw. You see what does happen when Snake set up well for him, and that was the best fight they could have. But again, Snake are very far behind on gold. So the best fight you can possibly have at even gold is great. The best fight you can possibly have when you're behind, what, 6,000 gold? Not as good.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, Crystal looking to pick up his Berserker's Greaves pretty soon. Going to have a lot more mobility in this fight, which is definitely going to help him out. And Barker, this is what I really love, has gone for that Rabadon's Death Cap instead of finishing the Void Staff.
Yeah, I was actually going to point out, before that last fight started, which was part of the reason Snake didn't win it a little bit harder, Barker had about 2,500 gold banked at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
And knowing that, you know what, I've actually bought enough time here, I've farmed up enough, I can get this Rabadon's, and like you mentioned, the increased shields especially to make sure that the Kog'Maw lives longer and the wild growth health there as well. So much more important than just the incidental void stuff. So Barker found the room to farm there and got a very important item as a result.
Yeah, Ninja though, 11, 1, and 6 here at this stage. Already sort of evened out his last performance. Goes out a True-Shot Barrage in an interesting direction, but that's going to be the third dragon now for World Elite. I thought it might be the fourth. Oh, that's because Beast had the sweet steal earlier.
I mean, thankfully it's not the fourth here. That would put a lot of pressure and a big timer on this game for Snake, but Flandre is getting bigger. Sunfire Cape actually finished here, so he can cause a bit more pressure on the top side. Rek'Sai getting tanky as well, almost done with the Randuin's. Zeal up now for Kog'Maw. Like, things are coming together now for Snake's team. They just need kind of to hit 3 items also is probably the tipping point for them in this game, and they'll start to take over World Elite's mid-game team comp.
Yeah, and you can see Ella has got the Aegis here as well, so building towards that Locket of the Iron Solari, wants to have a lot more magic resist for his team, but of course, you know, Ninja is going to be doing a lot of magic damage, what with the Mystic Shots and of course True Shot Barrage here as well, but it's mainly just a Luca here with any magic damage.
I think it's actually very smart to have an Aegis against a fed Ezreal.
Yeah.
The transformation, there's just so much mixed damage really coming out of Ezreal that you need to shake it off. And the thing is that, like, Mikhails doesn't do that much for Crystal here in this game because you already have good shields for him. Like, he'll probably want one eventually just to help, but at the moment, you're really worried about the latent magic damage coming in because you have to kind of fight these 280 carries anyway, and Ninja's the one that's actually doing better. Like, you can't build, like, a Frozen Heart really against Ezreal or Graves that does that much work against them, but Aegis is probably the most cost-efficient way for Ella to protect Crystal. And remember, that's literally all of their comp does is protect this Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and of course, when they get that Locket of the Iron Solari completed as well, I mean, they'll have the shield, which is going to be really fantastic. The fact that Snake love to team fight as well is going to mean they're going to get the most out of that item as they possibly can. Let's just see whether Crystal can complete that Phantom Dancer, really start getting his power spike happening as, you know, this Kog'Maw really needs to carry.
Yeah, I mean, that Locket shield to me almost feels underrated, and the Chinese are probably the region that best use its shield kind of proactively when they're team fighting.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Flandre continuing the split push here on the bottom side, unanswered at this stage. Aluka's teleport not quite up yet, and they are able to clear out these waves very efficiently now that Barker has that Rabadon's Death Cap. Of course, Crystal going to stay very safe using that Living Artillery to clear waves as well, and Snake actually have quite a decent stall comp.
Yeah, I mean, this is so smart from Snake. We've seen this a lot back in the LSPL days for Flandre, where he played, I believe, AD LeBlanc top lane and literally split pushed his team to victory. Mundo's Sunfire Cape lets him put on so much pressure on these lanes, and Snake can actually build a secondary tank. It's probably the Kog'Maw with all of the shields and the Lulu wild growth that they have. So Flandre is more than is actually almost encouraged to move away, split some of World Elite's team up and apply pressure to buy space for Snake because they don't need Mundo right now as a big frontline tank. They just need him to buy time for Snake. That's all Snake wants in this game is more time.
Yeah, and Flandre, of course, on this Mundo is going to do inherently more damage as well. He's not anywhere near as ignorable as the likes of a Maokai, who's just going to bounce you around a bit, lock you down, but you know, Mundo actually does a fair bit of damage with those cleavers. The fact that they scale off his health and do % health damage is something that you can't really look away from.
Yeah, he's also a really good split pusher actually as well when he can clear waves like with Burning Agony Sunfire Cape, just because when you pop Masochism under a turret, you actually get a lot of just flat AD from the skill itself, even if you don't have that much health missing. So
yeah,
Flandre's a really good candidate to split push here in this game, and again, all it does is buy Snake time, which is what they need here, because this Kog'Maw, only 2.5 items, needs to get going, and almost all Kog'Maw builds are inherently really expensive.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want Trinity Force, you want Blade of the Ruin Kings, you want Infinity Edges. It's a tough trip to the shop, but Flandre going to continue throwing out these cleavers, and World Elite going to start the siege here on the bottom side. 5 members strong. They don't have a turret here, of course, from the earlier work done by World Elite. Flandre dodging out of the way of these Mystic shots quite nicely. Dart Binding does go wide, but you can see World Elite taking a fair bit of damage here as Flandre now looking to go aggressive. Ninja gets hit by that, and look at this shield just really speeding up this Mega Mundo.
Yeah, and I mean, World Elite make the right decision, move into the lane that Flandre was, I guess, kind of distract World Elite from being like, guys, trust me, there's an inhibitor here. There's a tower here, sorry, trust me, like, trying to move them away from that lane. And
yeah.
It worked for a while. World Elite kind of realized, like, hang on a second, and moved down to try and take it. But you can see already, Snake's team comp is just much better than World Elite's when it comes to big 5v5 team fights at the later stages of the game. Like, World Elite have to manufacture one hell of a pick to really break the lines here of Snake, and that's so hard to do against a Lulu. So grouping together, Snake are very strong, and World Elite are forced back, even though there's an inhibitor open in the bottom side.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And, you know, Crystal, he's finished his static Shiv now, and think about that. I mean, you pop the Bio-Arcane Barrage, you get a static Shiv proc plus Sheen. That is so much damage on your first auto attack.
Yeah, 3 items is a good point for any AD carry here. He already has a lifesteal item as well, so this is the jumping off point for late game carries. When you have 3 damage items and some form of lifesteal, things usually start moving up for you. I mean, STYZ still doing good damage on the Graves. He's got 3 items as well, but it's just incomparable to Kog'Maw at this stage of the game. And in fact, from this point onwards in this game.
Yeah, well, it's true. And I mean, he's got Barker there as well to help him out with shields, with wild growths. He's got black shields available from Ela where he's not going to get locked down. Things are going to get very, very scary here for World Elite as this Kog'Maw starts to power up in this game. And we know that Crystal definitely has hard carry potential.
Yeah, even the Void stuff's good here as well for Lulu. If I'm understanding the interaction properly on help picks when you use it on an ally, I believe the damage that Pix does when you auto-attack people is based on Lulu's AP and items, not Kog'Maw's. I could be wrong on that one, but even then, I think it scales off AP as well. So just giving an additional shield and steroid to Crystal when he auto-attacks, and he does have quite a lot of attack speed in his build. That's just even more mixed and magic damage coming through here. And Void stuff, it's not much here. Lulu doesn't do incredible damage, but just the fact that Lulu's damage will stick a little bit more when she does do some, it just contributes overall to Snake's strong team fight.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that, you know, those Glitter Lances are really going to start smashing through here as STYZ. He's going to take down the 4th dragon for World Elite with Spirit's help now as well as he comes in. And now Snake need to make sure that they have an idea of when that dragon's coming up again, because 5 dragons could really be the tipping point here, because World Elite, I mean, they'll just rush through, they'll take the bottom inhibitor, and that'll just open up the Baron for almost easy pickings here for World Elite.
Yeah, Snake, I mean, are finally going to get a trade. This is actually not a bad trade at all. The mid turret's a really important one for any team to get here, and Snake are finally going to pick it up very late in this game. I mean, they probably would have preferred to contest for the 4th dragon. I think they feel quite strong at this stage of the game, but World Elite were able to sneak it away. Snake just had a bit of sloppy vision in towards that dragon area, especially with World Elite already pressuring that side of the map. And now the 5th one's on. And if there's any way to turn a 2-threat comp on in the late game, it's by getting a 5th dragon.
Well, yeah, exactly. So World Elite, they'll probably just wait the extra 5 minutes or so that they now have to wait for that 5th dragon to come back up. And or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just go straight to Baron.
Yeah, it's part of the reason mid-game comps have seen a lot of popularity recently is just because the the mid-game comps let you take dragons that much easier, and if you snowball the dragon objective, you're rewarded even late in the game with the buff it gives, and it empowers your mid-game comp to effectively snowball the objective. Because if it came too late, you wouldn't have enough late game to fight because the dragon time is so long, but the 5th dragon's so good at pushing you over the edge when you only have, like, say, 2 mid-game threats that it's actually worth snowballing, which is why we see champions like Grave, champions like Corki. Even in this case, the Ezreal here, which is very mid-game focused as well.
We'll just wait to see, you know, the Shakos come in and stuff like that.
That's a little too early game, unfortunately. Although, someone's probably going to do it. I can tell you right now, I think Insect's going to have at least 1 Shako game logged in the LPL this split.
One can only hope. I'm waiting. I am definitely waiting.
I mean, who knows? Lo could play Shako support. There's plenty of ways to achieve your dream, Atlas.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Hopefully it comes true. You know, it's always good to have dreams.
It is.
Always good. Scuttlecrab's going to go down. He's no longer going to have any opportunity to have any dreams as STYZ takes that one down.
His dream is to be alive, and what a lead to quash that.
Yeah, teleport to come through here. Cataclysm onto Crystal. They'll test this Kog'Maw's massive damage as World Elite now getting funneled into this choke. That massive knock-up to come through here as well as Crystal just chilling out in the back line, getting all the damage down that he wants. Spirit down solo. Living Artillery's there. Beast is going to fall, but so is Aluka. And Crystal now has to watch his positioning. The exhaust onto Ninja. That could mean a whole lot as Ella's going to fall down. Barker comes back into this fight. Crystal has to watch out. Ninja takes him down as Flandre might be able to finish off this Ezreal Cathian surprise. Going to do a lot of damage to Ninja there as Flandre doesn't have his flash available, can't get over that wall, and eventually 3 for 3, but on a knife edge.
That was very aware play by Ninja, by the way. He actually kind of walked around where Flandre was there trying to snipe him with their cleaver. I don't think he would have died to it, but as hysterical as that would have been, I think Ninja didn't want that to happen, so moved away. And you could see the power of the Kog'Maw comp starting to do a lot of damage here. I think Infinity Edge is the next item, which is massive damage for this Kog'Maw, but the issue is they had to use the Wild Growth onto Flandre, and same thing. You don't have any damage except for the Kog'Maw. So we'll see it again here. And this fight starts really well. Spirit goes in very deep to try and lay down Crystal. He just gets ripped to pieces here by Kog'Maw. Forced to flash out already. Ella's off to the side, not quite able to get in there. And there's the Wild Growth that looks great here onto Flandre. He lives for a million years almost in this game. But Aluka dives back onto Crystal. Can't get in back onto the backline here. Ninja's cleaning up people in the back. And Crystal starts to go up. There's the damage in. UJ gets poked off here, but this is the problem. They don't have the Wild Growth cooldown now anymore for Crystal, and even though he's doing good damage, he actually can't 1v1 Ninja right at the end of the fight there. If they'd had another cooldown, if Flandre was dead and Kog'Maw was alive, that's a one fight there for Snake. That's the issue that Snake kind of came up with that team fight.
Yeah, I mean, that Wild Growth, though, you have to go for that one. That was a 4-man knock-up, which really helped the sort of back foot Snake lineup win that fight, but you're exactly right. I mean, Crystal, as soon as he dies, there's not a whole lot that Snake can do.
I mean, I don't know if that Wild Growth should be used there. I mean, it's very attractive. I understand why Baka did it. It was a very good ulti, but I'm not sure how tanky Flandre is in that situation, given how much damage Graves and Ninja actually do right now, even though there's a lot of armor but no Thornmail onto Flandre. So if he couldn't live for maybe 10, if he's not going to live for 10 seconds longer without the Wild Growth, then I think you have to use it, which is a bit awkward because, again, you need it onto Crystal here, but the tenets of Juggernaut are only use your abilities on the Juggernaut, and he didn't get to use it.
Oh, it's a good point. It's a very good point. Flandre looking for another 1,300 gold now before he finishes off that Thornmail. Thornmail already completed here for Beast, though. He's very aware of this double AD threat comp, and he is building as much armor as he possibly can. Crystal now looking for that 1,300 gold as well. I mean, both Flandre and Crystal looking for the same amount. As soon as they hit that, things could look very, very good for Snake moving into the next fight. The gold lead has not changed for a very long time, nor is the amount of turrets that are down, as of course 6-3 for the last while here on this map, as these teams are looking to find their way in, find their option to win this game.
I wonder if Snake would happily trade this dragon for Baron, by the way. I don't think you should, given that the 5th dragon's so good, but Snake can at least think about it. They might be able to hold a push if they make their trade, even if Wardley has 5 dragons. I don't know if that's true, but they might be thinking about it. But Wardley have got 2 really good objectives to look at here, because they've got the 5th dragon or the next Baron. There's the Thornmail for Flandre. No IE done yet for Kog'Maw. It's about 500 gold away or so, I think, but Snake have to pick a fight before Crystal has his 4th item, so they have to find a winning position.
Yeah, and this is a really, really big Mundo here for the front line as well, as World Elite looking to put the pressure around this Baron. Oh, actually, Twisted Advance is now on cooldown here for Aluka. They're going to take that as an opportunity to engage as Crystal's off to the side there. Does have the Black Shield. True Shot Barrage not going to find the Kog'Maw, who hasn't really started auto-attacking in this fight. There's the Twisted Advance. There's the Wild Growth here as well as Crystal. He's getting focused and dies already. World Elite still quite healthy in this one as a Cathian surprise rips through them. Flandre so strong in the backline, still not dead, but Barker's going to fall down. There's a double knock-up from Beast. He's still so strong, somehow able to take care of Aluka here as well, as Spirit just keeps getting knocked up. And Beast with this armor-focused build, there's not a whole lot World Elite can do.
I mean, we talked about it in the draft. It's a double AD comp here for World Elite, so all of the tanky stats that Snake's frontline are stacking is really good. And Flandre is still going in with cleavers.
Yeah, you can see, he had to leave that last fight because he was so low. Sadism able to really do some work. There's a huge wave in the top lane, as you can see. And Beast might be able to take down this dragon. He's going to tunnel towards Spirit. Doesn't want to give him an opportunity to steal, as Flag and Drag's going to be used to get him to safety. The Storm's there, and it's just going to be Flandre playing defense as Beast is able to take the second dragon here for Snake.
Yeah, he has to zone out Spirit, although he might actually entertain a tower dive.
Yeah, actually, Flandre sort of 1v2, being a bit silly.
1v3, actually. The tower's hitting him as well, but he's fine.
1v4 then, as STYZ's now found his way in, and this is when Flandre decides, okay, 1v3 and a tower. This is not what I want to do. Whoa, the big twisted advance. Ella, you are nowhere near as tanky as this Mondo, and STYZ, I mean, doesn't really want to kill himself. And, oh my goodness, Crystal and Beast, this is a Cogmore on Baron. This thing is melting. The Infinity Edge completed. That True Shot Barrage was a very admirable effort.
That was very close there, but Snake do get the Baron. Really smart stuff there. Flandre zoning out Spirit there, giving Beast, making sure Beast could secure the Dragon to deny it from World Elite, and then giving up Ella. Flandre, again, wasting time, as much time as he can on this Cogmore to give them Baron. Snake have a very good position now.
Yeah, Righteous Glory to come through here. There's that Cataclysm. Flandre flashes out of it. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, good flash as well. You know, you might be tempted as Mundo, you know, I'm really tanky, what can they really do to me? But he has to make sure he doesn't die here. That's the only problem that Snake can have, is if they somehow split up or World Elite split them up. But there aren't really good split pushes on World Elite's side, and Snake right now have everything they want. Even Cogmore has a Giant's Belt here. Snake, your time is now to win this game. Yeah, you're basically done as far as items go.
Yeah, and look at World Elite on their side. They're like, okay, we're going to need as much lifesteal as we possibly can so we don't kill ourselves on this double Thorn Mail. So this is double BT and soon to be double Blade of the Ruin King as well.
I love what Flandre is doing with his build, though. He's actually going for Leandri's Torment as a late-game Mundo build, which does a lot of damage. He already knows he's tanky enough. He doesn't need a Warmogs at this point. He's got a Wild Growth if he really needs it, but he's got, what, 4,000 health already on this Mundo? Yep. And Crystal here is going to shred through turrets.
Oh, yeah, it's got some big shields on it here as well, as Crystal actually takes a lot of damage from that Mystic Shot, but you can see he can dish out exactly what he takes here as Flandre takes up position here on the front line, and he's not taking too much damage from anything, and he's got so much regen. I mean, they need Crystal to be able to actually auto-attack this turret, but look at Ninja just takes so much damage, and this Cogmore doesn't care about no turret. He just wants to kill every member of World Elite.
Yeah, I think that was 3 autos, a crit, and a static shift crit. Now almost killed Ninja in one little combo here. This is the big benefit of, this is the payoff of playing this sort of comp, is that Cogmore, once he gets going, is almost unstoppable.
Yeah, and Barker now, he's only got one more item to buy. Look at this super fast Crystal. STYZ getting torn apart. He's starting to run out of mana, so Crystal might need to go and find a blue buff or something like that. Maybe get an old Soraka back in here to infuse him. But Snake now going to turn their attention to this turret, and Spirit taking so much damage. This Cogmore is just ridiculous. Look at Ninja! He arcane shifts and takes an auto attack with him, and World Elite going to have to go back to the fountain yet again.
Yeah, you can see the power of Juggernaut. Crystal finally able to play aggressive in the front line when he has so much damage. World Elite, though, have a huge minion wave built up on Snake's inhibitor, so they do have to back off.
Yeah, this inhibitor will go down. Of course, Empowered Recall really going to help out the Snake lineup as... Yeah, that's a couple of siege minions, a whole bunch of casters. They needed to go back and... Oh, that looked beautiful.
It did.
Best little lance ever.
Just slicing through the minions there in the bottom side. And I think with that giant spell, by the way, I'm pretty sure that's a frozen mallet that's coming for Crystal. I'm almost positive it's a frozen mallet.
It might be a Warmogs, because that would also be
That
hilarious.
would be sweet. Actually, that would be really sweet. Now I'm torn.
Yeah, I'm a bit torn too, but I do like the fact that he'd be able to slow people down, because we saw the fact that, you know, if he managed to... you know, slow STYZ even a little bit in that last fight, he could have just auto-attacked him down.
Alacrity enchant there as well for Crystal, I believe, on his boots. So really just using all of the tenets of the comp here. Flandre is massive, both literally and figuratively right now. I mean, and I like that Snake are at least respecting some of their secondary damage threats. They're not massive here, but Lulu can do some damage with the Void Staff, and Mondo can do some damage with the Leandrids, especially trying to chunk out the tank line with some cleavers. So there's a lot of good stuff going on here at World Elite. Their window for their comp to be very strong in this game is closed, apart from maybe the 5th dragon that's coming back up in a minute 35.
Yeah, and I'm really interested in what Beast is doing with his build here at this stage. He's building a late-game Sunfire cape.
I mean, again, it's sort of adding to the I need to do some damage here. Warmogs is fine, but he needs armor and health. Those are the 2 best stats against World Elite's comp. So, you know what?
Double Blade of the Ruin King?
He's already got Aranduin's.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it's physical damage as well from the blade, so... you need the same stat basically. There's not enough mixed damage to justify I think just a flat Warmogs at this point. So he does also help with some latent magic damage. It's not the worst thing ever. And look how tanky Flandre is.
Yeah, just hanging out here in the front line. Black Dark Binding gonna land onto a Luca at the same time as Flandre's taking half his health. Probably about time to pop your ultimate here, Flandre, as the knockups now start to come through. Crystal is huge here in the front line as Luca's taking so much damage. And Cogmore, finally, the Wild Growth does wear off as Luca now just taking so much damage. Barker secures that kill. And now with Ninja dead, with Luca dead, Snake's lineup is finally doing what it wants to. And Crystal, he was untouched there in the back line.
Yeah, no more pesky sidewaves either to really do Snake any damage. And at this point, I don't know if we'll let him anything like STYZ.
God! Okay, yeah, that was through a shield as well,
Yep,
that crit. That was stupid.
Last auto killed him through a Janna E there. And Snake, it took them a long time in this game, but they finally come up big in the last team fights of the game.
Yeah, and Crystal there with the flash onto STYZ at the same time gets rid of all of the damage from World Elite. And it was an epic 45-minute game, but Snake, they tie it up. But World Elite looking so much better. Is Snake just going to dive the fountain? Silly Crystal auto-attacking the Nexus. They had some kills to get.
Crystal really wanted a pentakill, I think. They tried to dive in for some kills, but no penta forthcoming. But a well-played game by the end there by Snake. I'm hesitant to say a well-played game overall. Early game execution, a little sloppy there from Snake in places, but we talk about it. When they team fight, they're one of the best-looking team fighting teams in the world. Juggermore is a team fight comp to a T, and it took them a while to get there, but once they got to that point, Snake showed no signs of ever giving another team fight away.
Yeah, and as far as leaning on an AD carry, what better player as well? I mean, Crystal's team fight positioning was beautiful. I mean, he got caught out in maybe one of these matches, but I mean, that was it. He was looking brilliant otherwise, and I have to think that this Juggermore comp might be what gets Snake out of this funk that they're looking like they're in.
Yeah, it's a great comp for Snake to play. I said it in the draft when they picked it.
Yeah.
It suits their style so well. They love to play around Crystal, and they're very good at doing so. Just tighten up some of the things in the early game, because when Beast can't get you ahead, you need to find different ways to get Cogmore ahead. And it was a great first 10 minutes and a really sloppy 25, and then a great last 10 as well.
Yeah, it was looking great. And Snake, they've got a few more games coming this weekend, and we'll see whether they change up their playstyle, whether Barker can learn a few extra champions here as well. But there's still one more matchup tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Vici going to be taking on OMG after this short break.